Well, good afternoon and welcome to Maine Road. This afternoon's highly entertaining and attractive tie between Manchester City and Blackburn Rovers, and it really is a top of the table clash because Blackburn are the division's leaders early in the season. Let's have a quick look at the two sides. Beginning with the home side, in goal Andy Dibble, at number 2 Mark Seagraves, who returns after missing the midweek Littlewood's Cup tie against Plymouth. At number 3 Andy Hinchcliffe, 4 Brian Gale, at 5 Wayne Biggins, playing in an unusual shirt for him. He replaces Ian Brightwell, who's picked up a last minute injury. Number 6 Steve Redmond, 7 David White, 8 Paul Molden, number 9 Trevor Morley, 10 Neil McNabb and 11 Paul Lake. The two substitutes, last ditch signing on Thursday evening, Carl Bradshaw from Sheffield Wednesday wears number 12 and Paul Simpson is the other substitute. And just before we move on to the Blackburn Rovers side, we have got a mascot this afternoon. It must be a very important day for him this afternoon. David Bell is 7 years old, young lad from Shotts in Lanarkshire, so he's come a long way for this afternoon's game. I think he's getting the coin there from the referee. And let's hope he brings City some luck this afternoon. I'm sure he will. Certainly seems to be enjoying the moment. The Blackburn Rovers side then sees Terry Geno, the only change from their side, which beat Brentford 3-1 in midweek in the Littlewoods Cup. He comes in to replace Vince O'Keefe. Number 2 Mark Atkins, 3 John Miller. At number 4 Tony Finnegan, 5 Colin Hendry, 6 David Mayle. At number 7 Ian Miller, 8 Nicky Reid, who needs little introduction to City fans. He's the captain these days at Blackburn. Number 9 Howard Gale, 10 Simon Garner, the top scorer with 6 this season, and 11 is Scott Sellers. Alan Ainscough and Sean Curry are the two substitutes against Stevie Redmond. The other 3 victories that Blackburn have had away this season have been a 2-1 victory at Chelsea on the season's opening day, Stoke 1-0 and Hull 3-1. But City themselves come into the game in a run of form with 4 victories in a row behind them. And here's Trevor Morley, who scored the winner last Saturday at Barnsley. Hinchcliffe, Morley in the middle, and it's knocked away by the fullback. White plays a short one to Hinchcliffe. Into the middle, up goes Morley. Well, it was Morley's header. And as I said before, he scored last week, but just off target on that occasion. Well, he had to stretch for that one, Redmond. At least he got the touch. Seagraves away. Nicky Reid, Finnegan, Atkins, Gale. Couldn't turn them past Redmond. Miller trying to get the cross in, and came off his legs, so City will have the throw. Doesn't like the decision, Miller. Well, he's been at Blackburn Rovers 7 years now, Terry Geno. Somewhat of a veteran at 35. White will let the ball slip under his foot. Sellers. Morley. Up to Biggins. McNabb. Showed a little bit too much of the ball to Sellers. Garner. Competitiveness from Garner. Sellers with a shot, but never really likely to trouble Andy Dibble. Gale was coming in at the far side. Sellers, and the covering tackle was from Steve Redmond. Supporters Player of the Year last season, Steve Redmond. Miller. Once again. Sellers trying to get past McNabb, and now White as well. He's got past them though, he's got the cross in, but it's drifted behind. He did the hard part then, Sellers. Slipped past McNabb and White. But his cross, a disappointing one. Defeats in a draw. Lake, Finnegan, Gale, Finnegan goes for the return and gets it. They're outnumbered here, Blackburn, and Andy Hinchcliffe recovered well. Linesman on the far side gave a free kick. The referee says it wasn't, and I must say it didn't look like a foul from where I'm sitting. Well, Don Mackay is off the Blackburn bench, out of sight. He certainly didn't like that decision. Certainly the Blackburn player seemed to get a bit of an injury there. Gale denying Gale, and that really was a superb tackle by Brian Gale, who's had a bit of a rough start to his career here at Maine Road. Well, that will go down well with the City fans. Meanwhile, Finnegan gets some treatment. As I was saying, he did look as if he got a bit of a knock, but it looked to be more from the way he fell rather than any incident with Hinchcliffe. Blackburn supporters looking concerned. Ankle that's causing the problems. Well, he's back on his feet. Both the Blackburn substitutes are in fact warming up. Alan Ainscough, much travelled striker, and Sean Curry. Over comes the corner. Well, Dibble held his concentration well. It must be difficult for a keeper when the game is stopped for so long like that. Again, he's going to have to go off. It's the back of his knee, in fact, that he's holding, possibly ligaments. That's Alan Ainscough, who's travelled around clubs like Blackburn, well, before Blackburn, Blackpool, Birmingham City and Everton, amongst others. Probably in the two, so I'm sure he'll be okay in the second half. Ainscough, and that was Garner's shot, and there goes the half-time whistle. No goals, but City certainly look the better of these two sides. So very satisfactory first half then. Manchester City 0, Blackburn Rovers 0. So it's going to be as you were as we get underway in this second half. The two City subs already warming up on this near touch line. Paul Simpson came on last season in the game against Blackburn. And of course Carl Bradshaw, who arrived on Thursday, will relish the prospect of making his home debut this afternoon. If he gets the opportunity, and he has to make the long trek back. Now, just for a moment or two, a little bit of a lull in a game that's really been played at a tremendous pace. No real surprise. Up and under from Stevie Redmond. Hendry watches it, it's bouncing very dangerously in that area. Biggins! Well, Colin Hendry was guilty then of not being very decisive in his own box. Biggins followed it all the way through and scores his first goal for Manchester City. 11 minutes of this second half gone, and no more than City deserve. Just as I was saying, the game had gone quiet. It's 1-0. And the crowd go a bit bananas. And Salah's brought down. Garner, 1 against 1, shot hits the post. Garner inches away from equalising for Blackburn. Well, a let-off for City. Simon Garner, 6 goals to his credit already this season. Sellers. Miller's come short. Straight into the hands of Dibble. Ainscote. Almost invited to shoot then, but McNabb, who's had a very quiet game for the Blues, brings it away. Well, Molden got one in the face then off Hendry. Certainly that will deserve a booking from the referee. Whether or not that was intentional in terms of malicious foul, I'm not quite sure. But there's no doubt about the fact that Colin Hendry's foot made contact with the face of Paul Molden, and that's going to result in the referee showing him the yellow card, I'm sure. Naturally, the face of Colin Hendry showing certain amounts of concern. And the referee explaining the fact that his feet were up a little bit too high. But let's not tempt fate, because the game has not been won yet. There are still a few moments left, and what drama may happen. Well, certainly there's drama there with Gale. Desperate to get on with the game. Tussling with everybody, it seemed. Morley was one of the players he tussled with. And John Penrose, who commenced refereeing in 1967, so he's got plenty of experience, decides just to have a word with the two of them. Mayle, here's Gale again, faced with Morley. Atkins ran into Biggins, and it's a corner. The referee says it's a corner. Neither of the players, in fact, the City players, are incensed by that decision. Gale's corner. Biggins, Sellers, goes down in the box. The referee waves it away, quite rightly. Sellers then, a blatant dive, not a player within 2 yards of him, and that really brings the game into disrepute when players do that. Blackburn, it must be said, have done it once or twice now, desperately looking for a goal, and it would seem at any cost. Curry into the middle, Hendry's there, Hinchcliffe away, desperate measures as both sides turn the screw, but it's Blackburn who are taking the game to City. Morley, anywhere will do. What a finale. We're now deep into injury time as Sellers locked this one in. Ainscoe, and away by Redmond, up to the halfway line to Molden, who's fairly grappled off the ball then by Miller. Sheer determination from Blackburn. Ainscoe again, but offside. Well, I'll tell you. McNabb, Lake, Seagraves, big kick forward, and there goes the final whistle. With 3.5 minutes of injury time played, City with a very well deserved victory. A super performance by both sides really, and a super advert for the British game at its best. The all-important goal coming City's way from Bertie Biggins in the 56th minute. Handshakes all around, and 3 very well earned points for Manchester City. The final score then here at Maine Road, it's Manchester City 1, Blackburn Rovers 0.